It's my pleasure to introduce to you this morning my friend Renan Perdomo from Honduras. Renan is a speaker with Operation Christmas Child. He's been traveling around the country telling his story about how a shoebox has made an impact in his life. Would you help me in giving Renan a warm round of applause? Welcome.
Good morning. It's amazing how that song say, God is good few times or all the time. That's amazing. Like she said, my name is Renan Perdomo. I'm from Honduras, a small country of 7 million people in Central America. I'm the younger boy of 10 children in my family. My mom had 15 kids. And I remember growing up in a little town of 800 people. And just to see you guys right now, it's amazing. You probably more people here than my little town right now. And this is all to God. And I remember growing up, I don't know about you, but living in a small house with other people just like you is tough, isn't it? 6 boys and 4 girls. So I remember that my father, he had a little store where people would come and buy grocery items. And my mom she was a pastor of the little church and also a midwife. We didn't have no electricity. We didn't have no water. We just survived day by day. So I remember that I wanted to go to school. I was about 8, 9 years old, and always came to my mom and said, Mom, I want to go to school. And she's like, I know you want to go to school, but I don't have money to buy school supplies. The school in Honduras is free, but you got to provide the school supplies. And the only thing I needed to go to school was a pencil and a notebook. That was it. But we didn't have no money because at the same time, 2 of my brothers and 2 of my sisters were going to school at the same time. But I always remember my mom saying, don't worry about it. We're going to pray. We're going to ask God, and I know He will provide. And I always remember the praying every day, every night. And I don't know about you, but whenever I was little and my mom said, pray, ask God for anything, He will give it to you. Every morning I get up and look around and see if He bring me anything. Have you done that before? So it was too long after that, we heard about somebody came to our house and said, hey, tomorrow some missionary will come and give away some free stuff. And I don't know about you, but when you don't have anything and they say free stuff, do you get mad or happy? That's right. So we got up early that morning. We went to the church, little church, it was probably 25 kids in there. And they presented the gospel, and we waited, and then finally, here was the hymnal box. And I was like, really? This is for me? And they said, yes. I was like, why? And they said, it's yours. And they said, something wrong? I said, no, it's nothing wrong with this thing. It's perfect. That was my first present ever. We never celebrate Christmas. We never celebrate birthdays because we didn't have the money. And they said, you got to open it. And I was like, why? This is so pretty. I don't want to break this thing, And they said, you got to open. And guess what? I opened the box. And guess what was inside the shoebox? I can see now that you was the one that packed the shoebox. School supplies. I remember opening up shoebox. Have you seen that commercial, this little kid going to Disney World? They open the box, there's light in there. That's what it was. I opened the box, and it was like gold. I see a light in there. And the box, it didn't have an end. I just keep pulling stuff out. And I remember it was pencil, notebook, crayons, color book, and a pair of scissors. And the reason that I remember a pair of scissors, how many of you have cut something with a pair of scissors that you're not supposed to cut? Well, my sister, she's like, I want to cut your hair. And I was like, I don't think you can do that. And she said, yeah, I've seen it before. And you know what? She did it. And she did such a good job that I decided to stay in home for 2 weeks. I didn't want nobody to see how good the job she did. That way they didn't have to come and take her, I love her that much, But this simple shoebox, it changed my life because I always wanted to go to school and learn how to read. That way maybe one day I'll be able to go to work and provide for my family because my brother had to go work at the city to provide so my father could have a little store, So with that shoebox, simple shoebox, a pencil, and a notebook, I was able to go to school. That shoebox blessed my life, blessed the life of my family at the same time. I was able to share with my family. And always remember that even though I grew up in church, I didn't give my life that time, but it was few years after that that I began to understand. I also gave me a New Testament, and I knew that in that book, it was something that was going to change my life forever. And so I gave my life to Jesus. In the shoebox, it kind of connect all the dots. It came to a point where it's time to give my life to Jesus. And because I always went back to the missionary and said, why did somebody want to give this stuff? Why? If they have too much, and like, I don't have anything. And they say, well, this is all about the love of Jesus. They love Jesus, and Jesus decided to love them, and they decided to love you back. So I was like, I want that love. Because every time I opened the shoebox, I felt safe. I felt loved. For the first time, I felt that somebody cares about me. And this is why it's so important talking about Operation Christmas Child in church, in school, anywhere you go, because this is how I got involved. Don't ask me how I'm here now. The only answer to that is God brought me over here to the United States. I came here 8 years ago. I met my wife in Honduras. She was a missionary. And now I live in Mississippi. I don't know if you can tell. I'm from Mississippi. Somebody say you got to say you're from Mississippi. So live in Mississippi for 8 years now, almost 9 years. I didn't know how to speak English. And the reason I say this is not to brag on me, it's to brag on God. I can only do it with Him. Without Him, we're nothing. So I got involved today. I went to the church when I started learning how to speak English, and I got involved in this, and now God says it's time for you to go and share your testimony with others. So I encourage you to do shoeboxes because this thing works, and the most important thing is for you to pray, ask God to go in the shoebox, because the love of Jesus will go in the shoebox, and every time this little kid open the shoebox, they will receive the love of Jesus every time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Renan. Thank you.
I just want to say something.